Welcome to our channel,
Talk Canada.
I'm your host and host Hassan, and she's your host.
And I'm your host Madiha.
Today we're going to talk about step 2 of Express Entry Visa, which is collecting your documents and keeping it ready so that you can fill the online profile.
Yep, that's right. So you need information from all these documents to start up your online profile for the Express Entry Visa. So please keep watching this video until the end to understand step two through and through.
The first document they need is your passport or your travel documents. Why they need your passports? Because they might need your passport number, places you've been to, the visas, or if you have dual citizenship, they might need to know that too.
So the second set of documents you need is your language test results. In order to show that you're eligible for the Express Entry program, you need to take an approved test. You need to get a minimum required level. We will talk about that level later in the video. And you need to provide those test results when you're filling in your online application. That's the information it's going to ask you. So it's going to be for reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Those are the four categories that you'll be tested or assessed on. So whether you're taking IELTS or you're taking CELPIP or you're taking the French test, you will not be assessed based on the scores that you've obtained in those tests or exams. Rather, the scores of IELTS will be converted into CLB, which is the Canadian Language Benchmark. So this is a benchmark set by the government, and it compares your scores against this particular benchmark. For example, for the Federal Skilled Worker and the Canadian Experience Class program, you need CLB 7. That's right. So you need to have CLB equivalency of 7, and we will talk about how much that is in, for example, for IELTS, how much score would that be? And for the FST, which is the Federal Skilled Trade Program, you need to have a level of, I believe, 5 and 4. Yes. So you need to have a level of 5 and 4. So let me now go ahead and show you what those CLB equivalencies are, and let's just focus on IELTS because that seems to be the most popular test that everyone takes. So let's get started. So as you can see here, this is the language test equivalency chart, and this is available on the Government of Canada website. I'm going to post that link into the description box so you can go ahead and check it for yourself. The first test, as you can see, is the CELPIP, the Canadian English Language Proficiency Index program, but we are going to mainly focus on IELTS, which is right here. So for the FSW and CEC program, you need the CLB level to be 7. And as we can see here, CLB level 7 is in reading, it's 6 of IELTS. Writing, listening, and speaking is all 6. So you need to have at least a score of 6 in all those 4 categories. If you're writing IELTS and you are interested in the FSW or CEC program, you have to make sure that that's the minimum you achieve. Of course, because there is a lot of competition, it's best to get as many points as you can, but this definitely is the minimum that you have to have. Now, the Federal Skilled Trade program is slightly different because it requires, for speaking and listening, it requires CLB level 5. For reading and writing, it requires a CLB level 4, which we're going to see what that is. There you go. You need to have 5 and 5 for FST program, and for reading and writing you need to have CLB level 4, which is 3.5 and 4. So the IELTS test results are valid until 2 years, so please do make sure that when you apply or before you apply for PR that your test results are valid. That's one of the critical things that we should always keep in mind, that the validity of the test results.
The third step is ECA, Educational Credential Assessment. So basically in this one, you have to get your education assessed. Suppose if you have PhD or bachelor's or master's, you have to get your degree assessed. And one more thing, you have to get your highest degree assessed, which is, suppose you have PhD, then you have to get your PhD assessed, not your bachelor's, not your master's. If you have master's as in like highest degree, get your master's assessed. To earn the points, you have to have your degree, diploma and certificate assessed, and it should be equal to the secondary school, which is grade 12 here, or post-secondary, which is bachelor's. There are many organizations which assess your degree and diplomas. I will post them down below in the description. Which one did you do?
I used WES, which is World Education Services, and I had a great experience with them. So it's a very lengthy process to get your transcripts, because that's what you will be sending to WES. I would suggest that it's best to get this process started as soon as you can. Do you remember the trips I had to take to the universities and colleges just to obtain my transcripts? You don't really need that unless you're like traveling abroad or you're planning to study somewhere else, or outside of India, Pakistan or Bangladesh. That's when you require your transcripts. So it's not an everyday process, so it's best to get it started as soon as you can. You need to go to your university that you've done the degree from. You need to go, I believe, to the registrar, because that's where I went, and you have to ask them for the transcripts to be sealed in an envelope, so that either you can post them directly to WES, or even the universities offer that they post them directly. So I have an example here. This is the transcript that I have from SNDT, which is a university in Mumbai, India, and I did my master's from there. So in order for me to get my master's assessed with WES, I had to ask for these transcripts to be sealed in an envelope, and that's how they seal it. They just stamp it and they sign over it. This is how they're going to accept your transcripts. If they're open, they're not going to accept it. So make sure that you get started on this process as soon as you can. Get all those transcripts out there. You can post them by yourself, and in order to post them by yourself, you need to have this sealed. But the other way you can do it is just ask the university to do it on your behalf. You can provide them the address. You can tell them that they need to send it to WES, and they're going to do it on your behalf. It was a time-consuming experience for me, but nevertheless, I got my degrees assessed, and it was a great experience with them.
So I have a question. Did you send it to yourself, or?
Oh, I actually preferred sending them myself. I kind of did not trust the universities a lot. Like, you know what, I might as well just do it myself. So I made sure that I got at least 2 envelopes sealed, just in case if I made a mistake with the first one. I was sure that I had a second envelope. So just ask them to put it in 2 separate envelopes and just seal it. That's more beneficial. I feel like it just gives you a satisfaction when you post it by yourself, and you have the tracking number, so you can always keep a track of those documents. So the next set of documents you need is a valid job offer, if you have one from Canada, or a provincial nomination. That's again if you have one. These are not mandatory, but if you have them, it's just beneficial, or it's something that you can add to your profile. Again, it's not required, it's not essential, as the documents that we talked about before. Those are essential, those are something that you really do need. But these 2 documents, if you have it, great. If you don't, you can still be eligible for the Express Entry Visa program. So provincial nomination, like we talked about it in our previous video, and I believe you're going to post a link up here for that video. You can definitely go ahead, watch it, like it, give it a thumbs up. And we've talked about what provincial nomination is. That's if a province nominates you. If, say for example, if you are human capital, you have valuable experience, they're going to nominate you. If you're a new businessman and you're looking to invest some money into Canada, then that's another instance that a province would nominate you. Also, if you have a valid job offer from that particular province, then there are high chances that a province will nominate you. So if you have like a valid job offer from an employer in Canada, and it should be written, it should have the start date, it should have the employer's name and address and other such details, even the knock codes. So if you have a job offer like that, then you can definitely mention that information down the road into this application process. So these are some of the documents that you require immediately, because you need information from these documents in order to create your online profile. But then there are also some documents that you need further down into this application. There's
3 documents that you need to submit with your profile, and one of them is police certificate. police certificate, you need it from the country you are in right now, and the minimum requirement is that you should be at least 18. If you are 18 or over, you need that police certificate. If you lived in country more than 10 years, in the last 10 years, if you lived in any country more than 6 months, you need police certificate from that country. It's best that you have it before you apply, before you're putting your application in the pool, because in some countries it's fast to get police certificate, in others it might take a month or 2 months. So best is to get your police certificate when you're applying for when you are in the pool. Suppose if you have a family of 4 and some are minor, which is less than 18 years of age, they don't need a police certificate. If you are here in Canada and you worked in Canada for some time, then you don't need certificate from Canada because they already have it in the system.
So also, if you have lived in a country in the past 10 years, if you've lived in a country for 2 years and you were at the age of say 17 years, and you lived in the country from the age of 17 years to the age of 19 years, you still need to provide a police certificate, but for 1 year, which is from age 18 to age 19. You wouldn't need a police certificate from when you were 17 years to up to 18 years.
That's fine.
Yeah. The next set of documents are medical exams. So you need to take your medical exam from an approved panel physician, and I'm going to post a link in the description box to who they are. And these medical exams, they need to be valid when you enter Canada or when you're applying for your PR. They need to be valid. So it's best recommended that you take a medical exam as soon as you get an invitation to apply. Now, whether you're traveling alone or you're traveling with your family members, you need to have a medical exam for yourself and your family members, even if they're not traveling with you. The reason you have to take a medical exam is because Canada doesn't want anyone who's immigrating to Canada to pose risk to their health and safety, and they don't want anyone to be like a burden on their health and social system, and that's the reason that you have to take a medical exam and prove that you're fit to actually immigrate to Canada. So that's one essential thing that you have to do, and you have to have those documents when you're submitting your profile. And the last set of documents that we require is
proof of funds. So why do you need proof of funds? You need proof of funds so that you can show Canada that you can survive here for those time that you don't have job. For CEC, which is Canadian Experience Class, you don't need to show your proof of fund. And even if you have a job offer under FSW or FST, which is Federal Skilled Trade or Federal Skilled Worker Program, if you have a job offer, you don't need to show it. But if you don't have a job offer and you're applying through FSW and FST, which is same Federal Skilled Trade and Federal Skilled Worker Program, you have to show proof of funds. You need to have minimum of $12,960 for one person. If you're coming with a family, there's a whole chart which I will show you right now. The money you need depends on the number of family members that come in. If you're coming alone, you need $12,000, $12,960. If you're coming with a spouse, $16,135. And for each additional family members, you need $3,492 added on those amount. So be consistent with your amount. Whatever amount you should be there, because they do check those things. Don't be like, one day there's a shopping going on, sale going on, like, hey, I'm gonna buy a bag for myself or a jacket for myself. Don't do that. Keep your amount intact. And yeah, so that's what they need, and they need a written proof from the bank or any authorized organization that you have that kind of amount. So when you arrive to Canada, make sure you tell your border officer that you're bringing more than $10,000 and tell them that you're a new PR. In that way, they would know exactly. Otherwise, if you don't tell them, anything more than $10,000 might be seized and you might get fined. So make sure you tell them, and best of luck.
So this brings us to the end of step 2, which was getting your documents ready for the express entry profile. Now, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you didn't understand anything, or you want us to elaborate on any of those documents, please leave a comment in the description box and we will be happy to do it for you. We will be coming up with more informative videos in future, so please do keep watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.
Thank you.